discovered new lands, and he thought that I wouldn't know. He discovered a lot of Indians who discovered the lands before. Columbus lied, Columbus lied, Columbus lied, Columbus lied, lied, lied. He took all the glory from any discovery. The truth of the story, those lands were discovered already. Columbus lied, Columbus lied. And if you concentrate, you will discover the man was late. Nowadays you enter a strange land, they call you an alien. You got to explain to immigration, what is your intention? Columbus didn't have to do that, it just didn't make no sense. His authority was a cock hat, and his passport was violence. Columbus lied, Columbus lied, Columbus lied, Columbus lied, lied, lied. He fooled everybody with a whole lot of fantasy. I don't know why he did it. Maybe he thought the Indians were spirits. Columbus lied, Columbus lied, Columbus lied like hell. I believe his head wasn't well. Columbus, and the truth is that you are right. Though his name will be always famous, for me that man was a blight. He discovered North America, he discovered the West Indies, the same place they sent me for fathers and subject them to slavery. Columbus lied, Columbus lied, Columbus lied, Columbus lied, lied, lied. He said he discovered the whole of America. He never tell nobody how he had to run from Apache. Columbus lied, Columbus lied, Columbus lied so bad. I believe Columbus was mad.
Yes, that is Columbus Live by a great Trinidad and Tobago calypsonian, Mighty Shadow. Time check. The time is approximately 9:02 p.m. That time check is brought to you by Nokia Home Improvements for all your general construction and remodeling job. Nokia Home Improvements. No job is too small. You can call them at 973-592-8493. That's 973-592-8493. We'll be right back after this short break.
Are you looking for a professional logo design for your website, brand, or business? Then we are the company you are looking for. We are professional graphic designers, and with our skills, we will design a perfect, high-quality logo for you. We work with standout concepts, nice contrasts, and color balance. Please let us know your text for use in logo, web address, color of logo that you want. We will design 3 variations of your logo for you to choose from for only $99.95, with 100% refund of your $99.95 if you're not satisfied. We provide fast delivery and professional design. We also design any size web banner ad for $35. Call us at 347-674-1680. That's 347-674-1680. An operator is standing by to take your call.
Coming soon, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The South Orange Maplewood Online Radio Experience.
Do you want your kid to run faster with better running form and conditioning for his or her sport? Then Running Development Academy is the place for him or her. Our training packages fix their form and make them run faster. How about training to run a marathon or just run faster in your respective event? Maybe you just want to learn to run properly and lose weight in the process. Our trainers, a former 800 meters track Olympian and an 8 times world record holder in Masters Track and Field, will get you there. Don't delay. Sign up today at runningdevelopmentacademy.com or contact us at 973-868-1444. That's 973-868-1444 to learn more.
You're listening to the South Orange Maplewood Online Radio Experience. For more, go to SoMore.org to participate in the discussion.
Want to learn piano for kids? Then I recommend Wendy Goldstein School of Piano. Wendy Goldstein has been offering piano lessons since 1993 and teaches piano in a very natural way. An alumni of Manhattan School of Music, Wendy creates customized lesson plans for each student and helps bring music alive. Wendy provides you a convenient location, the best value, and the most fun way to learn piano. All ages are welcome and the first lesson is always free. Have questions? Call Wendy at 201-207-5169.
Go ahead and advertise on the South Orange Maplewood Online Radio Experience. You can reach us at 347-674-1680. That's 347-674-1680. An operator is standing by to assist you.
We are back with you. It's in the Village with Anselm Marjorie in the South Orange Maplewood Online Radio Experience. Coming to you every Monday through Friday from 8 to 9:30 p.m. That's 8 to 9:30 p.m. You can reach us here at 973-327-3626. That's 973-327-3626. So what's going on in the communities of South Orange and Maplewood over the weekend? On Saturday, we have an artwork exhibition on sale, 1978 Arts Center. A sale of small-scale original artwork by over 40 local and regional artists. Affordable prices for collection and gifting continues this weekend. We also have Dickens Village, a full day of fun, including a visit with Santa, a petting zoo, horse and wagon rides through the village, and a holiday reading at Woods Bookstore. Plus, the strollers will be corralling through town. We also have the Book Arch Roundtable sale at the Beards in South Orange. Handmade object by members of the Book Arch Roundtable from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We have the Hometown Holiday in South Orange. Santa and Elf Parade, tree lighting, music, hot chocolate and more, all in downtown South Orange. Festivities begin at 2, tree lighting at 5:15 p.m. And then on Sunday, we have the Wellspring Health Collective Open House, free workshop, chair massage, yoga and more, from 12 to 5 p.m. at 697 Valley Street in Maplewood. And then we have the Memorial Church Candlelight Carol service. This beautiful service tells the Christmas story through the readings and carol, featuring the Morrow Chancellor Choir and the Lyrica Chamber Orchestra Brass, presenting John Rutter Gloria, free to the public, and that's at 4 p.m. So those are just some of the things that are going on in South Orange and Maplewood over the weekend. Now, today, this is something I just wanted to bring to you. Today, there was more news regarding resisting arrest in New York City in black and white. This was reported on WNYC. So let's take a listen to that report by WNYC.
NYPD officers appear to be far more likely to file resisting arrest charges against black suspects than white suspects, with dramatic differences in some parts of the city. That's the conclusion of a new analysis by WNYC's Data News team. Robert Lewis reports.
Law enforcement experts say resisting arrest charges are a strong indicator that an arrest went bad and a cop had to use force. So with the death of Eric Garner over the summer during an arrest for selling loose cigarettes, WNYC's Data News team analyzed court records to look at who gets charged with resisting arrest. Noah Veltman from Data News explains.
We looked at some of the most commonly charged crimes in New York City and found a consistent racial disparity. If you look at low-level drug possession cases, for example, a black defendant is almost twice as likely as a white defendant to get a resisting arrest charge.
The disparity is even greater on Staten Island. with blacks almost 2.5 times more likely to be accused of resisting arrest. Noel Leader, a former NYPD sergeant and co-founder of the group 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement Who Care, blames the disparity on the illegal use of stop and frisk.
This unnecessary contact between communities of color and law enforcement has created a very high level of hostility and anger.
But Seymour James, head of the Legal Aid Society, says the numbers don't necessarily reflect aggressive actions by people getting arrested. Instead, it could be a sign that police are more aggressive in minority communities.
I think it's reflective of the fact that the police are physically abusive towards people of color and treat them with less respect than whites who are arrested.
The NYPD did not respond to an interview request. For WNYC, I'm Robert Lewis.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a story regarding black and white arrest in New York City. There was also a former police officer who was talking about certain things that were happening in New York as well. So let's take a listen to that former police officer.
More voice here. Before entering politics and becoming the Brooklyn Borough president last year, Eric Adams spent 22 years in the New York City Police Department. One reason he joined the force was to try and change a culture that he says treats people of color differently from whites. A grand jury's decision last week not to indict a New York City police officer over the death of Eric Garner prompted Adams to speak out publicly. Our colleague Steve Inskeep spoke to Adams about his New York Times op-ed called "We Must Stop Police Abuse of Black Men." Adams began by describing a double standard he sees playing out.
If it's a white person with a gun, it's likely that in his mind that the person could be a law enforcement officer, an FBI agent, a DEA agent, but that goes out the window when he sees a person of color with a gun. And in America's style of policing, gun or appearance of a gun in the possession of a person of color equals criminal. The precaution goes out the window and you're really just concerned about yourself, and you rather err on the side of harming him than on the side of having to be carried by a pallbearer.
Well, as a person of color who was also a police officer, did you end up thinking that way?
There were moments in my policing career where I became stereotypical, just like my white colleagues. And you really have to constantly ensure that you don't fall into the trap of believing because you are hearing a large volumes of calls that are a small portion of a community committing crimes, that you do not broad brush the entire community.
Let me ask about the case in Staten Island in New York City. There is a case where, unlike Ferguson, we know much, much less about what was on the grand jury's minds collectively when they decided not to indict Officer Pantaleo. As a former police officer, when you watch that videotape and think about all the circumstances of that incident, is there something that is apparent to you that is not apparent to the rest of us?
Yes. When we police in America, we leave the station house with this symbolic toolbox we can use based on the circumstances that we respond to. In many communities of color, the only tool we use is the hammer. And so when you look at the incident that took place with Eric Garner, those officers could have used a taser. They could have used stun guns. They could have used other non-lethal methods to subdue him. Also, they were not at the point of having to place their hands on him. They were still at a point where you want to de-escalate the situation. But in communities of color, the officers don't use those tools of conflict resolution. They quickly go from 0 to 100 in police action.
You talked about police metaphorically using the hammer. You have written that when you were a very young man, when you were a teenager, the hammer was put down on you.
Yes, as a young boy arrested in South Jamaica, Queens at 15 years old, while in custody, I was assaulted by officers where they kicked me repeatedly in my groin and caused, not only substantial pain, but for days after, they caused me to urinate blood. until it eventually cleared up, but the problem didn't clear up. What it did was it followed the long tradition, and people really don't want to understand that although laws change, the spirit of things can remain. And there's a long tradition of teaching people of color lessons. If it's hanging a black man from a tree so others can see as they walk by, if it's dragging a black man behind a truck, those symbols are important. And I believe there was a symbol that was embedded in me as a child. People ask, why was I a person that seemed to have been possessed about fighting